I will give a couple of announcements. When we look in Judges 8 verse 4, Gideon and the 300 men, when they crossed the Jordan, they were weary yet pursuing. And in a way, I think that this verse reflects and is relevant to the church situation today. The situation was similar to last week, but the church announcements was different in that from today, we announced that the vehicles and pedestrians will be restricted from 6 a.m. We made that announcement. And in order to come by 6 a.m., many saints came the day before. And in order to come by 6, from early morning, you had to prepare. So until this second service at 11 a.m., everyone must have been very tired. Yet many saints have cooperated with the church's decision. And in order to keep the Lord's Day, for all those who have joined us from dawn, I express my gratitude to all of them. Today, the breakaway side first reported that they will have their protest at 6 a.m., but they changed it to 10 a.m. But it is difficult to take their what they say at face value, and they might suddenly come before third service as well. And since they might continue protesting during these same hours, we did not change the restriction time and announce it at 6 a.m. I keep hearing about what happened last week. And the breakaway side, for the church members who came in individually, the breakaway side hindered them from entering the church and also leaving the church. And there were many conflicts. And there were even incidents where they were reported to the police. So until Easter Lord's Day, we were focused on keeping worship, but from now on we will minimize the conflict. And in order to protect our saints, we will continue to restrict vehicles and pedestrians to 6 a.m. for the time being. So for those who find it difficult to come by 6 a.m., we ask that you will join us online. But if you can, please come to church and you can rest or participate in guarding the church, or until service, you can read. And we ask that you will participate in worship in that manner. And in this situation, there were concerns regarding church school and middle and high school departments. So I gathered the ministers and asked about how their worship went. But we heard that the students came in early and stayed all day. And I think the students, some of them even enjoyed having fun at night. And then there were some kids who came with their parents. And when I went to the dawn service, I saw children sleeping with their parents at dawn service. And these kids are keeping their places in the church, school, worship services. So although this is our situation, all the ministers of the departments said that they are able to conduct on-site worship. So I thank all the parents and students for their cooperation. And we conjecture that the breakaway side will continue to hinder our worship in this manner. But we will not back away from this matter. And we're preparing various methods to solve the current issues. So please do not worry. And we would appreciate your cooperation with the church's decisions. And last week, as we celebrated Easter Sunday, we held communion during third service. But the breakaway side, they hindered our communion. And we will not back away from this matter. But we will continue to solve the current issues. So please do not worry. And we would appreciate your cooperation with the church's decisions. but actually they ultimately intended to prevent us from going to their assembly. And there was a lot of conflict in that matter. And they blocked our saints, many of them, from entering church to join the communion. So through the ministers, we found out that 462 people who were going to join the communion were unable to do so because of the breakaway side. And then there were those who had already decided not to attend considering the church situation. So including them, about 1,000 people were unable to attend. Now, this is not something we can just brush by. And regarding this, today, for all those who were unable to participate in the communion, we held a operation meeting today, operation committee meeting. For the saints who are unable to join the communion because of the breakaway size interference, the operation committee decided to conduct the communion during the next feast, which is the Feast of Harvest, during third service. Now, this would fall on July 7th. So when that day draws near, we will announce the communion again. And even if you have participated in the communion during Easter, you can still participate next time as well. And if you were unable to attend last week, I ask that you will prepare your hearts during the remaining period and participate in the next communion. Lastly, on April 13th, in the Atlanta Garrison Hope Church in the U.S., where Pastor Yu Sung-jun is the senior pastor, a dedication service will be held for the education building. I had visited the church in 2015, and there's a large backyard behind the church building. And I remember that founding pastor ordered that the education building be built there in the backyard. Now, Atlanta is one of the major cities in the U.S. where many Koreans reside, and founding pastor actually mentioned that a church should be established in Atlanta where thousands of Americans can gather. And the church is actually preparing for that, and it will serve as a new hub for the movement of redemptive history. Pastor Yu Sung-jun was a pastor over the middle school and high school ministry, and he was trained in Orlando. And now he has become the senior pastor of Pastor Yu Sung-jun. But after he went there, the Garrison Hope Church revived and more than doubled in number. And what I remember is that during COVID, I saw our branch churches praise, and the middle and high school students, there were so many of them in that church. And would they just come by themselves? They would come with their parents too. So this education building was built for the education of the children, and also in the future, this place will be used in relation to Berit Seminary in the U.S. to train those who will be working for the Word of Redemptive History. So in order to participate in this service, I am scheduled to leave on the 11th of this week, and I will return next week. And I am a little bit worried in my heart that I'm leaving the church during this situation, but because many of the overseas pastors will gather there, I have a lot to discuss with them as well. So in these difficult times, and also while founding pastor is not here, this education building was built and it will be dedicated. And we ask that you and the preparation for many English-speaking missionaries of the Word of Redemptive History is taking place. So let's keep our interest in this matter. Please pray for them. And let's pray that these children will grow up to help with the movement of redemptive history. Thank you.